It's interesting that you mentioned the in-doc identification. So I'm writing a new book now on comparative miscarriages of justice called Justice for Some. So I took a look at all of the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council decisions for the last 20 years from the Caribbean. And I found a real pattern of in-doc identifications. And in some ways, I think this represents either a lack of training or capacity or maybe laziness by the police, right? Because as you say, it's real simple to identify someone when they're sitting in a dock or in a cage or whatever. And, we know that we make mistakes on eyewitness identification. We're just not good at remembering who it is we saw, especially when it's under a time of stress and we might only have a fleeting glimpse of that person. But I do think that the police have to use identification parades, whether they're in person or whether they're done by photos, but they also need to do it in a way that doesn't, with a wink and a nod, say, I really think you should identify this person. So, we know from DNA exonerations that mistaken eyewitness identification accounts for, or is a factor in over 70% of the DNA exonerations. And that's just because as humans, we make mistakes. These are not people that are maliciously doing it, but they are mistaken. And so I think, part of it is also to educate police and prosecutors that they want to avoid wrongful convictions. I think, most police, the vast majority of police and prosecutors, the last thing they want to do is convict a person who is innocent, if only because that means, in many cases, not all, that the guilty person may go free. And so one of the things that I think has happened in Canada that could happen in Jamaica is police and prosecutors have written reports about wrongful convictions as a means to educate the younger police and prosecutors about these dangers.